Well, hello there folks, this is Zark. Last time we looked at Ant's card, now we're gonna be looking at Hub's card from Journey Together. And Hub's card is very strong and there's a lot of deck building you could do from his cards. And Hub is from the Sword and Shield era, basically the Gen 8, and yeah, he has a good Pokemon and most of his Pokemon is very represented for the TCG. And those Pokemon are Sarakanda, Corviknight, Double, Snorlax, Camerat, and Zacian, along with the evolution for Sarakanda, Corviknight, and Double. And the items that support Hub's Pokemon is gonna be Hub's Bag, Hub's Choice Band, and Postwick. And most of his Pokemon has a lot of synergy with one another, but some of them doesn't really work all together. Basically, you want to be focusing on certain Pokemon more than the others. Okay, before we look at his Pokemon, we're gonna be looking at the item card. Since the item card is very needed to actually see how the Hub's Pokemon, truly are, because they're really strong. Okay, let's start with Hub's Bag. It let you search up to 2 basic Pokemon for Hub's Pokemon and then put them into your bench. Basically, it's a buddy buff and version of Hub's Pokemon only. Now we look at the damage modifier for Hub's Pokemon. It's gonna be the Hub's Choice Band and the Postwick. And both cards increase the damage by 30 for Hub's Pokemon, and both of them can actually stack since Choice Band is a 2 card and Postwick is a Stadium. So the total is gonna be 60 more damage extra for Hub's Pokemon. And then after that, Choice Band decrease the energy for Hub's Pokemon, and certain Pokemon does have 1 energy, so it's basically free. So yeah, it's a very strong supporter here. Speaking of supporters, we're gonna be looking at the best Pokemon for Hub's Pokemon. Basically, it's gonna be Snorlax. And Hub's Snorlax is a very strong card since it has the same modifier as Choice Band and Postwick. And Snorlax's ability, extra helping hand, increases Hub's Pokemon by 30 damage more to the active. So spread damage doesn't work, but all 3 can be stacked together. So you get extra 90 damage into the active. So that's quite a lot. And we shouldn't be sleeping on this damage since Dynamic Press does 140, but it also does 80 damages. But with all the damage modifier, it does like 230 damage for a basic Pokemon. It's basically hitting like a truck. So basically, you're gonna be like doing 3 or 4 until they actually knock out the Snorlax. Most likely, you're gonna be yourself a knockout yourself because there's quite a lot of damage to yourself. But if you have a Monkey Dory, you can just move the damage around, just keep one-shotting them. So yeah, it's quite strong. Okay, before we get into the rest of Hub's Pokemon, we should talk about which one you should be focused on the deck first. There's a Zacian EX, there's also Corviknight, and then Salakanda. But I'm pretty sure you can also use Snorlax because those 4 Pokemon is way too strong, and having them to be together is kind of clunky. Mostly the 3, since Zacian, Corviknight, and Salakanda, it's really clunky or putting them together. So you're better off just separating them, what definitely gonna be doing. Let's start with Hub's Zacian, since this Pokemon is definitely gonna be more common than the rest of the other Hub's Pokemon basically. And this Pokemon does 2 attacks, and those attacks are Insta Strike and Brave Slash. Let's start with Insta Strike here. It does 30 damage on the active and does 30 more damage into your opponent's bench. So it's spread damage, but it's not like a Dragon Pulse spread damage. So it doesn't really work with Terra or bench protection. But it also does like 1 colorless energy. But with all the damage modifier, Insta Strike does 120 damage to the active. Now with Brave Slash, it does 240 damage, and with 3 metal energy and 1 colorless energy. But it also has a cooldown since you can attack after you use that attack. But most people would actually find a way to actually switch it out. So if you have a Latios, then you have an item for a switch, you can do that. So you can basically spam Brave Slash every turn, but you do need item to actually refresh it. So it's not that bad. But with all the modifier, it does like 333 damage for 3 energies, since Choice Band actually reduce the energy by 1. So yeah, that's quite a lot. Now we look at the stage 2 Pokemon Corviknight here, which required Rookie and Corspire for you to get the Corviknight, and it does 2 attack, which is Shoot Through and Steel Wing. And Shoot Through is the same as Hopzation, so it does 1 colorless energy, and it does multi-spread, but this time Shoot Through does 5 damage to your active and to the bench. And with all the damage modifiers, Shoot Through does 140 damage. With the choice band, it's basically free, so it's similar to Zacian Insta Strike. And his second attack, Steel Wing, does 150 damage, along with a damage reduction by 60 HP less. And Steel Wing required 2 metal energy and 1 colorless energy for you to use. So Corviknight HP would be getting 63 HP, so its total is gonna be 230 HP. So that's quite a lot, and it does also damage, so that's quite strong. As long you are not facing attacker for lightning base deck or a 130 damage HP or more, your Corviknight won't be getting one shot anytime soon. So it's very strong, and we are gonna be factoring in with the damage modifier for the Steel Wing, so it does like 250 damage in the active. So yeah, it's very strong, and it's probably gonna be knocking out multiple Pokemon since the damage reduction, it's very strong. Now we are gonna be looking at Sadaconda here. This Pokemon is a fighting type and also required fighting energy for you to use, so it's very clunky with other Hops Pokemon since they are metal type. And yeah, but they also have a pre-evolution of Silicobra, and we're gonna be starting with Silicobra here since it has a very strong attack called a Turf Maker. This attack let you search any stadium, which mostly gonna be looking for a Poisewek, and with Hops Band, it's basically free. Now we evolve it into Sadaconda, and we're looking at the attack here. Since his first attack is gonna be Rumble, it does 30 damage to the active and also lock them from retreating, so that's quite strong. So you can boss order or you can use counter catcher, get the weak one, and start rolling from there. And with all the modifier, it does like 120 damage, so yes, it's a very strong first attack. And Sadaconda second attack, Ground Break, does 140 damage and does 20 damage to your bench. So yeah, that's quite annoying, the 20 damage, but with damage modifier, it does like 230 damage to the active, so that's quite strong. But we can mitigate the damage for all your Pokemon with a Monkey Door, so you don't have to worry about the damage too much. But yeah, it's quite annoying, but it is what it is. Now we are looking at the rest of Hops Pokemon, that is Cramorant and Dabull. And Cramorant, I'm gonna be reevaluating it since I initially said it was bad, and yeah, I did use it more, and I'll say it's actually pretty good since Cramorant is a very situational card. It only does damage when your opponent at 3 to 4 price card, but it's extremely good when you are at 3 to 4 price card. So yeah, this mon is actually pretty strong, and Cramorant damage is pretty good since it only use 1 second energy for 120 damage, and if you have all the modifier combined, it's gonna be around 120 damage. And with the choice band reducing the energy cost, it's gonna be free. So yeah, it's a very strong mon, and not only that, it's a single price card. It's also 110 HP, so that's quite a lot. And then if you knock out their EX with a single price card, it's gonna be hard for them to knock it out, so you're gonna be rolling on. So yeah, that's why it's a pretty good card. And when your opponent up 4, they go down to 3, and if you have another Cramorant on the bench, you can keep rolling. And yeah, that's why this card is actually pretty good. Okay, now we are looking at Dabull here. Since a decent card, it has a boss's order once you evolve it from Wooloo. So yes, a very good card here, and it's very annoying for your opponent. But it's kind of annoying since a Wooloo is not that good, and they can counter catch your boss's order for them, and retreating is kind of annoying. But yeah, it is what it is. So those are Hop supporters and Pokemon, and yeah, his cards are very strong and they're really good to one another, but some of them are really niche and some of them doesn't work together. So yeah, I didn't really show off the deck list here since there's a lot of cards that they can build one another, or they can go to a different build, which I'm gonna be doing because I do want to break it down, all the synergy and stuff for that, how they actually work to one another, and then do a gameplay the following time. So yeah, there's gonna be more videos of Hops or different decks. So yeah, I'll see everyone later and have a good all day.